The program you are about to view was produced by SAIT Polytechnic students. The content of the program is the sole responsibility of the producers and in no way represents the views of this station.
Good afternoon and welcome to SAIT Newsfile. I'm Lexi Toll. Hillary Alexander will have sports in a moment, but first let's check in with the weather with Jolene.
Hi Lexi, I thought we were having a pretty good temperature today, but then I saw these other temperatures, last year's and of course the record high, so now I'm confused. We'll talk more about weather in my segment.
Thanks, Jolene. So Hillary, the Flames play tonight. I'm super excited.
And your favorite man, Johnny Gaudreau's on the ice?
He definitely is. I'm hoping he'll pull out a hat trick.
Yeah, me too.
Perfect. Let's look at today's top stories. Police are asking for public assistance relating to a heroin discovery in a Northeast convenience store last Friday. Employees were unpacking a delivery when they noticed it contained suspicious packages. Police were called to the scene and examined 2 clear heated sealed bags labeled Navi. The bags are found to be holding 2 kilograms of a substance known to be heroin. The shipment came from California, but police are investigating when the drugs may have been added to the shipment and who it was being sent to. The BMO Centre is home to many annual events in Calgary, but the Calgary Stampede would like to see more business coming to town. A potential expansion is in the plans, and while it's not expected to be cheap, it could make Calgary an international attraction.
The BMO Centre is approximately 270,000 square feet, and while that may sound big, on the international scale, it's actually a small building.
The BMO Centre is considered what we would call a Tier 1 or Tier 2 facility, and we're looking to make it a Tier 1 facility. So that would be more attractive for international and national type conventions and events to go on at the particular facility. So we're looking at potentially doubling the size, so taking it to approximately 1 million square feet, and that will kind of go out a little bit more as well as up.
The expansion project is likely to be expensive. It's believed the cost will be just shy of $500 million. The exact plan of how that money will be gathered is still being decided. With the economy struggling, many sectors in Calgary have suffered. The arts isn't one of them.
We also have a huge vibrancy with the arts and culture in Calgary. We have a huge volunteer base, not only with the Calgary Stampede, but in Calgary in itself. So we have all the elements to become an international destination. And so for economic viability, I think this is a great idea.
Stampede officials anticipate being able to release the official expansion plans within the next couple of months and hope to start the project before the year is through.
The jobless rate in Alberta rose to 7.9% last month, eclipsing the national average in Canada. So while these expansions could be expensive, adding nearly 2,000 construction jobs and an additional 500 full-time positions at the Calgary Stampede could be a big benefit for Calgary. For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Aaron Mahoney.
Well, Stampede season may not be here yet, but it's never too early to get into the spirit. 2016 Rangeland Derby Canvas auction was this Thursday, raising $2.29 million. Elma Kilburn has more.
It's been my life since I was born. My grandpa raced for 35 years and we followed him down the road since we were born really. I've been at the Calgary Stampede, so it's just something I've done every summer. It's in my blood and it's life, and now grandpa gets to follow his grandsons down the road.
With the crowd sporting cowboy hats, big belt buckles, and plaid, there is no mistaking the theme of the annual Stampede Canvas Auction. It's an event that brings together chuck wagon fanatics from across the province. Sponsors from all different backgrounds come to show their support by bidding on drivers for the upcoming season.
The Calgary Stampede has always been something very near and dear to my heart. My dad's been sponsoring chuck wagons for 32 years. And this year at In Focus Marketing, we're thinking about sponsoring a chuck wagon too. Well, I've actually been here a couple years before, and I absolutely love it. So many amazing Calgarians, business owners, enthusiastic chuck wagon loving drivers, and it's just an all-around great atmosphere, great energy.
While the crowd today is gathered for good food and light entertainment, the event today is about a lot more than just having fun. The results of the auction will show the state of our current economy. The 2015 chuck wagon auction brought in close to $3 million, while the 2016 auction was down to $2.3 million, an indicator of the tough economic climate.
The tarp sale was good, considering the economy, the way the economy is. It's been a big kick in the butt, but you just keep your chin up and your head up high and go with it, because we've been through it before. So this won't be the last time either before we're done racing.
Typical of the resilient Western spirit, it would take a lot more than an economic downturn to keep these cowboys away from their sport. For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Emma Kilburn.
Layoffs are becoming more common across Alberta as the price of oil continues to plunge. The Alberta government is taking an international step to make change. This week, Energy Minister Margaret Boy, along with the British High Commissioner, signed a low-carbon agreement that also focuses on creating jobs. An Energy Diversification Advisory Committee will help the two governments bring together industry innovators and other stakeholders. If you live in Alberta, you know times are tough, so when the city announced an $86 million surplus this week, Calgarians began wondering how it will be spent. City Council will be making the final decision on what to do with the money this summer. But it might be a heated debate as each councillor seems to have differing opinions.
We've got a really tough economic situation right now. We need to be really, really thoughtful of that. We know small businesses are struggling, and so I think this is a significant amount of money that we need to have a thoughtful conversation around.
You can provide your input by heading to the City of Calgary website. The Alberta government has announced a new benefit to help lower-income families. The benefit is open to all families who earn less than $41,000 per year and have at least one child under the age of 18. Annually, families with one child can receive up to $1,100, and with those with 4 or more children will be eligible for close to $3,000. The government says it will pay out $195 million in benefits through the program. The wheels on the bus go round, and so is the appreciation Calgarians are expressing towards city transit drivers today. Brandon Martin live at the Sunnyside C-Train platform to fill us in on why Friday is so special. Brandon, how's the ride?
Lexi, today is Thank Your Driver Day, recognizing our hard-working bus and C-Train operators. The movement began on this day back in 1663 with the introduction of bus services in Paris through the use of horse-drawn vehicles. We went out and decided to take a ride for ourselves.
It's always nice to see a friendly face when taking city transit. Today is a day to recognize our transit workers with just a simple thank you as you head off the bus or a quick wave to your C-Train operator. Transit drivers around YYC provide more than just navigating Calgarians from point A to point B.
So they do more than just drive a bus. They're the extra eyes and ears on the road for the community. And so this day is just for them. It's all about thanking our transit operators.
Sometimes it can be a daunting task to get up and go, but drivers try to keep the ride an entertaining experience.
You can have some fun, you know. The windows start to fog up and you yell back, and okay, I need everybody on the right side of the bus to take a deep breath and hold it for half a minute. You know, and you get a bit of a giggle, and then okay, switch. And by the time they're downtown, they forgot they're going to work.
Calgary City Transit employs about 2,400 jobs for bus, C-Train, and shuttle drivers. So the next time you're out and about, don't forget to show your appreciation for your local transit driver. Lexi.
Brandon Martin reporting live from the Sunnyside LRT station. Oil and gas workers in Alberta aren't the only people feeling uneasy during this downturn. A recent study shows college students across the province are experiencing high levels of anxiety. Jessica Scott reports on what SAIT is doing to help students.
Being a student brings on many stresses such as loans, exams, and applying for jobs. SAIT is taking steps to help students de-stress. The Conversation Club started last year when an influx of overwhelmed students began using counseling services. Every Monday and Thursday, the Reg Earhart Library reserves a study room for students to vent or simply meet with other students and staff.
There's no pressure, there's no test at the end, there's no repeating what you have to say on a written test or whatever. It's just casual conversation. And they can also ask, there's no stress because they can ask questions without feeling pressured about what their reply is going to be.
No topic is off the table because staff believe students should never feel suffocated by their concerns. 1 in 5 students are affected by mental illnesses, and a recent study shows a 30% climb of the suicide rate in Alberta alone. Depression is often called the silent killer. SAIT kicked off the second year of their mental health campaign in January to promote making noise and awareness for mental health.
We all need to be more aware of what our mental health and be able to do some self-care, but also to ask for help and know that there is absolutely nothing wrong with not being okay and finding those resources that you can get to help, whether it's online, here on campus, and utilize them, especially when you're here at SAIT. They're free.
SAIT also opens its doors for alumni to access resources such as counselors and peer groups. For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Jessica Scott.
The presidential campaign is still in full force for the United States, but here at home, SAITSA has found its new president. Voting numbers were up this year due to the increase in the number of candidates and the amount of campaigning that took place. Results show Gargar will lead the council as president, Michaela Schaffner took the VP external position, and Alex Demopoulos won the position of VP for academics, and Connor Goodfellow will act as the new VP for student life. The newly elected president already has a vision.
One of my major things is basically to divide things into long terms and short terms, and in this way you could actually help the prospective student and as well the future students, and see also their seats later on growing and becomes the best things.
Gargar hopes to engage fully with students to help support the ultimate student experience during their time at SAIT. The weekend has officially begun, and that means there's a bunch of things to do around the city. Here's a look at some ideas with Jolene Tansoni's community calendar.
If you didn't celebrate St. Patrick's Day last night, it's Friday now, so what excuse do you have? There will be goodies, Irish performers, and of course, Irish whiskey. Spring's almost here, and that means so is golf season. Get everything you need to improve your handicap at the Calgary Golf Show. The Necks will welcome the Colorado Mammoths tomorrow. Special guests from the TV show Duck Dynasty will be at the Dome for Redneck Night. If you're not a sports fan, you must be a music fan, right? Canadian singer-songwriter Scott Hellman will be downtown serenading Calgarians at his free concert. Before the season's over, be sure to get in some family skating time. Head to Acadia for some free fun. Away for the Easter long weekend? Here's your chance to celebrate early here in Calgary. There will be games and prizes, and the Easter Bunny himself will make an appearance.
Welcome back to SAIT Newsfile. I'm Jolene Tansoni. We had some decent weather across the country for your hangover St. Patrick's Day. Let's take a look with the West at first here. So a trend has been going on all week, a low pressure system off the west coast, which usually creates fairer temperatures. So we are seeing that, except as you can see, there's a high pressure system creeping east towards Saskatchewan, and that's causing snow again for Regina today. Sorry, Saskatchewan. Winnipeg, however, Winterpeg is not seeing any snow, so lucky for them, they have sunshine today. Heading to the east now. As you can see, a high pressure is continuing across the east all the way to the coast, and that's creating some less than favorable temperatures and conditions. That's when we start seeing these flurries. So as you can see, there's at least flurries, some showers in the Maritimes, but I have good news for Newfoundland. They have fairer weather coming for the weekend. Where there's always fair weather is our resort towns. Let's look at those.
Starting off with the warmest temperature, Palm Springs will reach 34 degrees this afternoon. It's the last day Barbados will see sun for the next week. Honolulu's in the clear though, nothing but sunshine there. And it's a gorgeous March day in Viva Las Vegas.
So like we talked about earlier, we aren't hitting last year's temperature, but the average temperature for Calgary on March 18th is actually 4 degrees, so we're still doing well there. And like I said, we have good news for the weekend. It's about to get warmer. Let's take a look at Alberta now. Starting in Fort McMurray, there's snow there, but off that low pressure system I was talking about, it's coming through central BC and south over the Rocky Mountains, and that's creating nice temperatures in central. So in our region, we weren't seeing any snow today. Edmonton as well, sunshine. And it's unusual, but our southern neighbors there in Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, they're usually the warmer temperatures, still decent temperatures today, but they're both experiencing snow, and they will expect some heavy snowfall over the weekend. So be careful if you're driving out there. Headed into the 5-day. Tomorrow and Sunday, we're seeing double digits, so that's going to make for a great weekend. Not too much sunshine, but of course, you can't complain about those temperatures, right? And we're going to see some snow as well on Monday and Tuesday. That's a good thing if you're headed to the slopes for some skiing. Let's look at how much snow has fallen there.
16 centimeters have fallen at Castle Mountain in the last 48 hours, making it a good pick if you're looking for the fresh powder. Nakiska did get 3 centimeters yesterday, but the hill remains mostly machine-groomed and it's pretty chilly out there today. Here's a spot that hasn't had any snow in the last couple of days, and yet it still boasts a nice 125 centimeter base. All lifts are open at Lake Louise. Pow pow powder! 30 centimeters of the white stuff has fallen in the past 72 hours. All but one of the 137 trails are open at Sunshine. The last snowfall in Kimberley was on March 13th, so if you're thinking of hitting the slopes here, you need to head to the summit to find favorable conditions. For the number one choice of the day, Big White is king. 304 centimeters of packed powder. If you're willing to make the trip, it's another perfect day in Peachland country.
So Hillary, what's going on with the Dallas Stars?
Tyler Seguin actually got his Achilles heel clipped.
Oh my gosh, I am so worried. Hopefully he's okay.
But you know what? Let's hear what else is going on in sports. I'll fill you in on that later.
Perfect.
All 6 Trojan teams made a valiant effort this season, but weren't able to bring home any hardware. The women's and men's teams for volleyball, basketball, and hockey are putting the past behind them and focusing on what they can improve for next year. Rebecca caught up with a few of the players this week. Rebecca, what are the athletes hoping to take from this past season?
Well, Hillary, there definitely was some disappointment, especially with the graduating players, but the athletes are keeping a positive attitude heading into the off-season.
I've moved up each year, so we're still continuing on our upward climb, so I'm really excited for next year. I know some of the girls, like I said, are disappointed, but we did great this year and everyone's really proud.
The women's volleyball team battled it out in what felt like their best season in a long time, but came up short in the final and placed 4th in the province. The team will be losing libero Kayla Nixon, who was named to the all-conference team. The men's volleyball team was also on the losing side of provincials, landing in 5th place. Brett Boland, Christopher Singbeal, and Brayden Anderson will be leaving the team this year. On the other side of the gym, the women's basketball team had a rough go at it before ending the season in 6th place. With a small team of 11 players by the end of the season, the women didn't have much of an opportunity to find chemistry on the court.
So we're just kind of trying to keep in it as much as we can, not just forget that the season happened and just put it on hold till September comes around. So we're trying to kind of keep a steady pace.
The men's basketball team couldn't outlast St. Mary's in their final game of the regular season, which ended their possibility of a playoff spot. A series of injuries and inconsistencies in the lineup led to a learning experience for the student athletes.
We're already having practices twice a week, and we're really trying to change the culture for next year and really trying to put that hard work in so that, that off-season hard work will definitely translate into the next season.
The women's hockey team took it into double overtime but couldn't make it past the semifinals and saw their season come to an end. While the men couldn't find a way to outlast Red Deer and fell 3-2 in overtime to the Kings in the quarterfinals after barely clinching a spot in the playoffs.
With the winning tradition here at SAIT, it's a pretty big deal to all of us who have been here for many years, and so we just hope that the new guys come in, take it as seriously as we do, and kind of bring a championship back to SAIT.
If you didn't get your Trojans fix, the men's and women's volleyball team will be hosting their 7th annual Smash for Cash tournament on April 9th. That's where you'll get to see some of their newest recruits. Hillary?
We'll definitely miss those graduating players, but best of luck to them. Rebecca Steinhubel reporting live from the Campus Center. If you're looking to relieve your stress, SAIT intramurals might be the answer. SAIT introduced a March Madness tournament this year, and it couldn't have come at a better time. Students were able to put together teams of 3 to 6 players and enter the week-long tournament for a mere $25. This is the first time basketball has been brought into the intramural scene at SAIT, and it looks like it's going to stay. Students look forward to being able to blow off some steam on the court and meet new people in the process.
Well, yeah, sure, in any way you can, as long as you build up a lot of sporting. Like, usually you don't see a lot of group activities at SAIT, and I mean, they're starting to do a lot more this year than they did last year. So it's great to see a lot of people come out for things like 3-on-3 basketball tournaments.
SAIT intramural students are invited to a free year-end gala April 13th at the Gateway from 6 to 9 p.m. Our boys in red are back in action as they host the Colorado Avalanches at the Dome tonight. The Flames are coming off a hot performance from Wednesday night's game against the Winnipeg Jets. Iginla and the Avs are currently in a playoff spot by 1 point. The Flames might not be going to the playoffs, but they'd love to put a wrench in their plan. Puck drop is at 7. If our boys win tonight, it will be their 3rd consecutive win. The Calgary Hitmen are in Cranbrook tonight taking on the Kootenay Ice. The two teams have already met 5 times this season, with Calgary sweeping the series so far, 5-0. The Hitmen have outscored the Ice 18-4, and 21 Hitmen players have at least a point against Kootenay this season. The Hitmen are coming off a huge victory in Red Deer on Tuesday and have only lost 1 game in their last 5. They're 3rd in the WHL's Central Division with 84 points, and although it's not over just yet, they've recorded their 5th consecutive 40-win season. The Calgary Roughnecks play host to the Colorado Mammoths tomorrow evening. The Roughnecks are seeking revenge as the two teams have met just once this season, a game that resulted in a massive 13-8 loss for Calgary. The Roughnecks are on a high, however, from their 15-1 thrashing of the Toronto Rock last weekend. Calgary is 3rd in the Western Division at 4 wins, and Colorado is at the top of the charts with 8 wins. Dallas Stars forward Tyler Seguin is out for 3 to 4 weeks with a cut to his Achilles tendon. General Manager Jim Nill said Seguin should be back for the playoffs. Dallas currently holds 1st place in the Central Division, and Seguin ranks 3rd in the league, scoring with 33 goals and 40 assists on the season. This is the 2nd year in a row the All-Star players will miss significant playing time. Last February, he was checked below the waist by Panthers defenseman Dmitry Kulikov and missed 10 games with a knee injury. Golfers are eager to hit the links, with courses opening as early as February in southern Alberta. Fox Hollow Golf Course is usually one of the early openers in Calgary, but this year it managed to beat its own record by opening in mid-February. Being the only course open in Calgary has proven to be advantageous for the course, as it's seen high volumes of new and familiar faces. Players are coming from all over the province to get a taste of the real thing after being cooped up in indoor ranges. While golfers will get to play outside, they'll still be playing on temporary greens.
So the really short grass is still tarped, so there's still tarps over it. So we basically cut like a circle in the fairway and then put like an ice cream pail in the ground and then put a flag in it.
Fox Hollow is offering half-price tee times until it's able to open its permanent greens. The Toronto Maple Leafs are the only Canadian NHL team in action tonight. They host the Florida Panthers at the Air Canada Centre. The Leafs are at the bottom of the league standings, but have won 3 of their last 4 games. Florida is 1st in the Eastern Conference's Atlantic Division. That's it for sports.
It's too bad about Mr. Seguin there.
And the Achilles heel, that just sounds brutal.
Yes, hopefully he gets better.
Yeah.
A new way to spend your rainy day. We'll tell you how after the break. When you feel it coming on, all you want to do is lay in bed. Influenza is one of the most common diseases you can get. Brandon Martin has more.
The flu is something most people experience in their lifetime. But what is it, and how do we slow its spread? We sat down with Janice Stewart from SAIT Health Services to talk about it.
Influenza is a viral infection, so caused by an influenza-type virus, and it's an infection of the respiratory tract, so the nose, throat, and lungs. How does it differ from the common cold? Well, the virus is different from the cold virus, and also how it presents. So the symptoms would be different from the common cold, and it's also a much more serious illness than the common cold would be. We can see outbreak as early as October, and there's been some reports of outbreak as late as April and May, but most commonly January or a bit later. Influenza can be contagious for 1 day before a person will start showing symptoms. Therefore, if you are exposed to the flu You can be contagious one day before you actually start feeling sick or getting the symptoms, and also up to 5 days after being ill. Your best protection against the flu will be the influenza immunization, so the flu shot is your best bet, but also good hand hygiene, so hand washing, making sure that you are not coughing in your hands, also disinfecting your area at work, your mouse, computer, phones, because the virus can stay live on a hard surface for up to 48 hours. Mainly is staying healthy, drinking lots of fluids, treating the symptoms, getting rest, staying at home, making sure you're not exposing other people as well at work, and just eating well.
As with all diseases, it is important to keep yourself healthy and immunized against the various strains of the flu. When you do not, you risk others, as the virus may mutate into a new strain or infect someone who cannot be immunized. For SAIT Newsfile, this is Brandon Martin.
You know summer's just around the corner when it's Bring Your Own Cup Day at 7-Eleven. From 11 to 7 p.m. for only $1.50, bring any size and get your Slurpee on. However, there are a few restrictions. The cup has to fit 7-Eleven size requirements, so don't show up with a wheelbarrow or a kiddie pool. Other rules include the container must be food safe, watertight, and only 1 cup per person is allowed. It's also Slurpee's 50th birthday, and the company will be celebrating all year long. Bring Your Own Cup Day runs tomorrow as well. So ladies, what's going on this weekend?
Well, although it is National Sleep Day today, it is my birthday party tonight, so there will be not a lot of sleep going on.
Well, Jolene, how old are you turning?
It's my sweet 16.
You look so young and not even legal yet.
Yeah.
16, hey? Wow.
16.
Crazy.
That's it. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us and have a great weekend.